Have you ever noticed how some people can walk into a crowded room, look around, and without speaking a single word, command the absolute attention of everyone present? They do not wear flashy clothes. They do not talk loudly or laugh excessively to force themselves into the spotlight. Yet, their presence feels heavy. It feels stable. It feels magnetic. In modern society, we are told that to be attractive or influential, we must be loud. We are taught to master the art of superficial charm, to always have a quick comeback, to network aggressively, and to constantly promote ourselves. But true magnetism, the kind that doesn't fade when the lights go down, is not built on performance. It is built on character. It is an internal state that projects outward. Over 2,000 years ago, in the ancient, chaotic streets of Rome and Athens, a group of thinkers discovered a way of living that made them unshakable. They called it Stoicism. Emperors like Marcus Aurelius, advisors like Seneca, and former slaves like Epictetus did not look for validation from the crowd. They conquered their own minds first, and because they controlled themselves, they inadvertently mastered the world around them. When you possess absolute internal control, people naturally gravitate toward you. Why? Because the world is full of chaos, anxiety, and noise. A person who is calm, grounded, and self-contained is a rare oasis in a burning desert. Today, we are going to break down the 9 profound Stoic habits that will transform you from someone who begs for attention into someone who naturally commands it. This is not about tricks or manipulation. This is about rebuilding your core identity. Habit 1. The art of voluntary silence. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. The philosophy. Most people speak not because they have something valuable to say, but because they are terrified of silence. Silence feels awkward. Silence forces people to face their own thoughts. When you observe a modern conversation, you will notice that people rarely listen to understand. They merely listen to wait for their turn to speak. The Stoics practiced the exact opposite. They valued speech as a precious currency. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, used to say that it is better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. Why it makes you magnetic. When you step back and refuse to participate in empty chatter, a fascinating psychological shift happens. People begin to wonder what you are thinking. Your silence creates an aura of mystery. Because you don't immediately offer your opinions, your words carry 10 times more weight when you finally choose to speak. You cease to be predictable. Practical breakdown and deep application. To implement this habit immediately, practice the 3-second pause. When someone asks you a question or finishes speaking, do not rush to answer. Let a deliberate, calm pause sit in the air for 3 seconds. Look them calmly in the eyes, process their words, and then deliver your response smoothly. This simple delay signals to the other person's subconscious that you are not desperate to please them, nor are you reactive. You are the master of your own timeline. Habit 2. Absolute emotional non-reactivity. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Marcus Aurelius. The philosophy. Marcus Aurelius frequently wrote about the concept of the inner citadel, a fortress within the mind that no external event, no insult, and no crisis could penetrate unless you permitted it. The world will constantly try to throw you off balance. People will insult you, traffic will delay you, plans will fail, and emergencies will arise. Why it makes you magnetic. Most people are completely reactive. If someone insults them, they get angry. If things go wrong, they panic. They are like leaves blown around by the wind. When people see you remaining completely calm while everything around you is collapsing, they view you as a leader. Your stability acts as an anchor for their anxiety. A magnetic person is someone who can look chaos in the face and remain entirely unmoved. Practical breakdown and deep application. The next time someone tries to provoke you, disrespect you, or cut you off in traffic, use the Stoic technique of cognitive distancing. Tell yourself, this person is trying to hand me their anger. I choose not to accept the gift. Instead of raising your voice or changing your facial expression, maintain a relaxed posture and a steady gaze. Your lack of reaction will completely disarm them, and everyone observing will instantly recognize your superior self-control. Habit 3. The radical acceptance of reality. Seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life. The phrase amor fati translates literally to the love of fate. It is a concept deeply embedded in Stoic thought. It means that when something bad happens, you do not waste your mental energy complaining, whining, or wishing things were different. You accept reality exactly as it is, and then you ask yourself, how can I turn this obstacle into an advantage? Why it makes you magnetic. Complaining is the ultimate killer of attraction. No one is drawn to a victim. People who constantly complain about their luck, their circumstances, or their past radiate a heavy, negative energy that drives others away. Conversely, someone who accepts hardships with a smile and immediately pivots to action possesses an intoxicating level of resilience. People want to be around individuals who make them feel like any problem can be overcome. Practical breakdown and deep application. Eliminate complaining from your vocabulary entirely. For the next 7 days, make a pact with yourself that you will not voice a single complaint about the weather, the economy, your job, or your energy levels. If an event is outside your control, look at it, accept it, and say, "Good, now let's see what I can build from this." Habit 4. Radiating presence through radical listening. Seneca once remarked that one of the greatest gifts you can give another human being is your complete, undivided attention. In a world dominated by smartphones, notifications, and short attention spans, focused presence has become a lost art. Why it makes you magnetic. When you talk to most people, their eyes wander. They check their phones. They are clearly thinking about what they want to do next. If you become the person who locks in, maintains comfortable but firm eye contact, and listens so deeply that you notice the subtle shifts in their tone and posture, they will feel seen in a way they rarely experience. You make them feel like the only person in the world. That feeling is deeply addictive, and it is the ultimate secret of charismatic magnetism. Practical breakdown and deep application. When engaged in a conversation, put your phone entirely out of sight, not face down on the table, but completely away in a pocket or bag. When they finish speaking, summarize what they said before giving your input. This proves you weren't just hearing them, you were understanding them. Habit 5. The elimination of the need for validation. I have often wondered how it should be that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others. The Stoics recognize that trying to please the crowd is a form of voluntary slavery. If your happiness depends on praise, your misery will depend on criticism. Epictetus taught his students that if they wish to make real progress in philosophy, they must be content to appear foolish or stupid in the eyes of the world regarding external things. Why it makes you magnetic. There is nothing more obvious and more repelling than the scent of desperation. When someone speaks or acts purely to get a compliment, a like, or an approving nod, their social value drops instantly. On the flip side, someone who is completely comfortable in their own skin, who does not brag, and who does not look around the room to see if people are approving of their actions, holds immense power. True independence of mind is incredibly magnetic because it is so rare. Practical breakdown and deep application. Practice the art of understated excellence. When you achieve something significant, do not immediately post it on social media. Do not drop hints about it in casual conversation to get a pat on the back. Let your work speak for itself. When others find out about your achievements naturally, through third parties rather than from your own mouth, your prestige increases exponentially. Habit 6. Embracing voluntary discomfort. Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, "Is this the condition that I feared?" Seneca, the philosophy. Seneca, despite being one of the wealthiest men in the Roman Empire, regularly spent days living like a beggar. He would eat stale bread, drink plain water, sleep on the hard ground, and wear rough clothing. He did this to ensure that he never became a slave to his comfort. He wanted to look his worst fears in the eye and realize that he was stronger than them. Why it makes you magnetic. Most people are terrified of losing their comforts. They are anxious about losing money, status, or their soft lifestyles. This fear makes them fragile and easily manipulated. When you intentionally practice discomfort, you develop a raw, rugged core. You aren't afraid of the rain, you aren't afraid of hard work, and you aren't afraid of being uncomfortable. This builds a primal, grounded confidence that people can sense instantly. You exude the energy of a survivor. Practical breakdown and deep application. Introduce small acts of voluntary discomfort into your daily routine. Take cold showers. Fast for a day. Sleep on the floor once a month. Walk or cycle instead of driving when it's slightly inconvenient. Every time your mind screams for comfort and you deliberately choose the harder path, your mental toughness increases, and that toughness reflects directly in your physical posture and presence. Habit 7. Maintaining a clear and steady gaze. The philosophy. While ancient Stoic texts do not explicitly talk about modern body language, they talked extensively about decorum, the physical expression of an orderly mind. Marcus Aurelius noted that the mind should manifest itself in the face, and that a steady, composed facial expression is a reflection of a steady, composed soul. Why it makes you magnetic. Your eyes are the window to your level of internal anxiety. People who are anxious look away quickly when they make eye contact. Their eyes dart around the room nervously. A person with a steady, unblinking, and calm gaze signals absolute fearlessness. It shows that you are fully present, that you are evaluating your environment rather than being intimidated by it. Practical breakdown and deep application. When talking to someone or walking through a public space, practice the unwavering focus. Look people directly in the eyes long enough to notice their eye color before looking away. When you do look away, do not look down, which signals submission. Look calmly to the side or up, as if processing a thought. Combine this with a relaxed, open posture, shoulders back, chest open, hands visible. Habit 8. Speaking with calculated clarity. Let your speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Ecclesiasticus. The philosophy. Stoics were famous for their laconic style of speaking. The word laconic comes from Laconia, the region of Sparta, whose people were famous for using the absolute minimum number of words to convey maximum meaning. Stoics believed that rambling, filler words, and over-explaining were signs of a disorganized and insecure mind. Why it makes you magnetic. When you over-explain your decisions, your actions, or your ideas, you project guilt and a need for approval. When you speak clearly, directly, and concisely, you project immense authority. People listen to someone who doesn't waste their breath. Every word you speak should feel heavy, deliberate, and intentional. Practical breakdown and deep application. Cut out filler words like like, you know, and basically. If you don't know what to say nothing until your thought is formed. When making a statement, do not end it with a questioning inflection. Make your statement boldly, stop speaking, and let the weight of your words fill the space. Habit 9. Remembering your mortality. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Marcus Aurelius. The philosophy. The ultimate Stoic anchor is memento mori, the constant reminder that you are going to die. To the modern world, this sounds morbid. To the Stoics, it was the ultimate tool for liberation. If you could die tonight, how much do petty insults matter? How much does the awkward social interaction from this morning matter? How much does the judgment of strangers matter? Why it makes you magnetic. When you internalize your own mortality, you lose your social anxiety. You stop playing small. You stop being afraid of rejection. You walk with the quiet confidence of someone who knows that life is too short to be spent hiding or worrying about trivial opinions. This total freedom from fear is the rarest and most magnetic trait a human being can possess. Conclusion and final charge. True magnetism is not a mask you put on to trick people into liking you. It is the natural consequence of an unshakable soul. When you practice silence, embrace discomfort, master your emotional reactions, and accept your mortality, you become something greater than just an attractive person. You become an anchor in a chaotic world. Stop seeking to be noticed. Seek to be remembered for your depth, your calm, and your character. Go forth, stay disciplined, and build your inner citadel.